Also, archaeological evidence contradicts the picture in Joshua. In the ancient Near East, destroyed cities tended to be leveled, and then a new city would just be built on top of the ruins. And you would have these slowly rising mounds, and that each one of those is called a tell, right? So you may have heard of Tel Dor. These are mounds which represent the successive layers of destroyed and rebuilt cities. And excavations will reveal the destruction layers under the floor of new cities. So following the biblical account, we would expect evidence of a 13th century destruction of Canaanite cities. And archaeologists for a long time were convinced that they would find these destruction layers, but they were disappointed. They have found really no evidence of extensive conquest and destruction in 13th and 12th century archaeological layers. Some of the sites that are said to be destroyed by Joshua and the Israelites weren't even occupied in this period, the late Bronze Age, beginning of the Iron Age, right? The Iron Age begins around 1200. So excavations at Jericho and Ai indicate that both of these towns were laid waste at least 200 years before the probable time of Joshua. So there weren't even any walls in Jericho at the time of Joshua. Of 20 identifiable sites that were said to be conquered or captured by Joshua and the next generations, only 2 show destruction layers for this time, Chatzor and Beyt-el. And yet, interestingly enough, Chatzor's capture, described in Joshua, is contradicted elsewhere in the Bible, because in Judges 4 and 5, it's still a Canaanite city. It's said there that it's still a Canaanite city, and Joshua failed to take it. So the conclusion one can draw from all of this is that Joshua 2 through 12 is a kind of ideological construction, the significance and the purpose of which we'll come back to in a moment. But clearly, the formation of a nation-state, Israel, was much more complicated than the picture that's presented in Joshua 2 through 12. Scholars have proposed 3 possible models to explain the formation of Israel. The first is an immigration model. This was first posed by German scholars. Since the main Canaanite cities that existed in the land at that time were fortified or walled cities down on the plains, the Israelites, it's thought, according to this model, would have entered and they would have occupied the very sparsely populated central highlands. They would slowly have begun to take control of the plains coming down from the highlands. Well, we do know that at the end of the late Bronze Age, beginning of the Iron Age, around 1200, this was a time of great upheaval throughout the Mediterranean world. You have the collapse of Mycenaean civilization, you have the Trojan Wars, the Hittites are invading Asia Minor, modern-day Turkey, to the north, and these upheavals are leading to mass migrations of people. Many are sailing from mainland Greece and from the Greek islands, and they are flooding this area. They're the coasts of Phoenicia, the coasts of Canaan, and Egypt. And these people are spoken about in a lot of our ancient sources. They're referred to as peoples of the sea, coming in from the sea, from islands and coastal areas of the northeastern Mediterranean. One of these peoples of the sea, one of these groups inhabited an area here. One of these groups, Parasta or Palasta. This is the word Palestine comes from this. Parasta, Palasta, or Philistines. It's all the same root. And so a group of these sea peoples comes in and occupies this area. They will be the Philistines, the area that is now the Gaza Strip. And they found the 5 Philistine cities that you'll hear about increasingly in the book of Judges: Gaza, Ashkelon, Gat, Ashdod, and Ekron.